"Son," the father began, his brow furrowed with concern, "I need to talk to you about something important. It's about your future and the world you're growing into." The son, a young man on the cusp of adulthood, looked up from his phone, a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. "It's about ideas," the father continued, his voice low and serious, "and how they can sometimes lead you astray." The father, a man seasoned by life's experiences, had witnessed the power of ideas, both for good and bad. He had seen how certain ideologies, like viruses, could spread from person to person, infecting their minds and shaping their worldviews. These ideological traps, as he called them, preyed on the idealism and empathy of young people, promising a better world while masking their true nature. The father knew he had to warn his son about these dangers, to equip him with the critical thinking skills necessary to navigate the complexities of the world. He had to teach him to question everything, to look beyond the surface of things, and to think for himself. The world was full of traps for the unwary, and the father was determined to protect his son from falling into them. "You see, son, there are ideas out there that spread like viruses," the father explained, his voice taking on a note of urgency. "They infect your mind, cloud your judgment, and make you see the world in a distorted way." The son, intrigued by his father's analogy, leaned in closer, eager to understand. "These ideas," the father continued, "they appeal to your sense of empathy, your desire to make the world a better place." The father knew how easily young people, especially those with big hearts and a strong sense of justice, could be swayed by such ideas. The promise of a fairer, more equitable world, free from suffering and inequality, was a powerful lure, one that could easily blind them to the flaws and dangers hidden beneath the surface. "They tell you that everything is simple, that there are clear solutions to complex problems," the father warned. "They promise you a utopia, a world without pain or hardship." The father knew that life was rarely so straightforward. He had learned the hard way that there were always trade-offs, that every decision, no matter how well-intentioned, had consequences. "The antidote to this virus, son, is responsibility," the father declared, his voice firm and unwavering. "It's about understanding that you are accountable for your actions, for the choices you make, and for their impact on yourself and others." The son, pondering his father's words, nodded slowly, beginning to grasp the weight of his father's message. "It's not about blaming others or making excuses," the father continued, his gaze steady and intense. "It's about owning up to your mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward with greater wisdom and understanding." He knew that taking responsibility was not always easy. It meant confronting uncomfortable truths about oneself, acknowledging one's limitations and accepting the consequences of one's actions. But it was also the path to true freedom and fulfillment, the only way to live a life of integrity and purpose. Section 4. The manipulation of good intentions. "These ideological traps," the father cautioned, "they thrive on good intentions. They exploit your empathy, your desire to help others, and twist it to serve their own agenda." He knew that the desire to save the world was a noble one, but it could also be easily manipulated. Without a strong sense of responsibility, without the ability to think critically and independently, it could lead to unintended consequences, even to harm. "They'll tell you that you need to sacrifice your freedom, your individuality for the greater good," the father warned. "They'll promise you security, equality, but at what cost?" The father knew that true freedom came with responsibility. It meant having the courage to think for oneself, to question authority, and to stand up for what one believed in, even when it was unpopular. Section 5. Freedom over security. "Never forget, son, that freedom is more valuable than security," the father emphasized, his voice filled with conviction. "It's easy to be seduced by the promise of safety, of a life free from risk or uncertainty. But true happiness, true fulfillment comes from embracing the unknown, from forging your own path in the world." He knew that some people, driven by fear or insecurity, would always choose the perceived safety of conformity over the challenges of freedom. They would willingly surrender their autonomy in exchange for the illusion of security. But he wanted his son to be different. He wanted him to be strong, independent, and courageous. Section 6. Family as foundation. Remember, son, the father concluded, his voice softening, you are not alone in this. You have your family, your loved ones to support you, to guide you and to help you navigate the complexities of life. He placed a hand on his son's shoulder, his touch conveying a lifetime of love and wisdom. Building a family, taking on the responsibility of caring for others, will teach you more about life, about the importance of responsibility than any ideology ever could, the father said, a hint of pride in his voice. He knew that family was the bedrock of society, the foundation upon which all else was built. It was through family that values were transmitted, that responsibility was learned, and that true happiness was found.